guaranteed today would have been taking the Rams plus the points because once it goes to overtime, you can't lose. They did go to overtime. They did lose to Baltimore. We talked
about a sweat on the teasers, boy. Jeez.
Well, it gets home with a punt return, punt return touchdown for the Ravens to win it in OT. Look like a lot of missed calls. And I'm not a referee. We're talking about this with Patrick Mahomes.
There were. Now, people are going to say, the Ravens, they had 7 penalties for 79 yards. But, look, the Rams all of a sudden have shown a pulse. This team looked dead, but now, they're relatively healthy. Health obviously being a relative term when you're in Week 14 in the National Football League. But 410 yards. They've been running the ball better, too. This is a Rams team that hadn't been able to run the ball for like 2 years.
Kyren Williams, once they got him back, you see what a difference he's made from the beginning of the year. Then he goes out, then he comes back.
Yeah, 25 for 114 today. Stafford, 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Cooper Nkupp, 115 in the TD. Puka Nacua, 84. They're finally.
Did you say Puka Nkupp? It feels like they are. That's a two-headed monster now there at receiving corps. You have a legit
now
guy.
They're figuring out because remember earlier in the year, and we talked to Michael Duarte about this, and just when we discussed Rams games, they weren't able. It was like, okay, once Kupp is back, then Nacua relegated to the bench. It's like, you can figure out a way to use both, and it took time for them to do that. But Rams do come up short, that walk-off punt return. Ravens did win the yardage battle, but I felt the Rams were
right
the better.
There.
They were the better team in the the first half. And then second half, I thought it was pretty even, but just a great drive by Lamar to go ahead and get that to overtime.
I feel like, and I said it earlier in the program, if you gave everybody truth serum in the AFC, they'd say the one team they don't want to see in the postseason as a wild card is the Buffalo Bills. Conversely, I think if you gave a lot of these elite NFC teams, Cowboys have already played the Rams when they were really banged up, the Rams would be that tricky team early on in the playoffs because of the experience of winning a Super Bowl with those key guys and then adding to it now with the Williams and with the Puka Nacua. It feels like they're starting to hit their stride down the stretch. Now, they might not get there at 6-7 right now, but this feels like a dangerous team. They're going to take on the Commanders at SoFi. Number open 5, immediately pops up to 6.5. One of the highest totals you're going to see at 48.5.
Yeah, there are, by the way, a couple 7s out there. It's mostly 6.5. But, Washington, they look like a team. They're coming off a bye week, so maybe they'll have an effort off a bye, but they look like a team that's done. They really do. They fired Jack Del Rio.
And that's Ron Rivera's guy.
Yeah, that's his guy.
That's a signal.
They fired him. You remember they traded Chase Young. They traded Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
At the deadline. Brian Robinson, he's questionable at the hamstring, the running back. And, they just got a lot of depth guys hurt. So you wonder, if this team isn't kind of resigned to its fate. We talk about teams that are tryhards. Are the Commanders going to be that? Man, I'm not sure. My initial first thought would be no, just simply because Ron Rivera, he's a lame duck coach. They're going to make a change. There's new ownership in Washington with Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and everybody. The rumor is it's probably going to be Bieniemy. Some people think maybe Bill Belichick would be interesting.
It's been floated out there.
But let's see. Now I think Sam Howell, he still makes some mistakes. And look, I talk about how Bryce Young, is too small. Sam Howell's not a very big guy either. But Sam Howell makes all the throws, and Bryce Young does not know how to do that as of yet. Maybe never will. At 7, I think you might get some market resistance on the Commanders here with the Rams because it's like, man, the Rams took Baltimore to the limit. They could have won. So you're getting the Rams a little bit higher in the perception in the market, even off a loss here. So at over 7, I'd certainly be interested in the Commanders, but. I just don't know, Dave. I wonder if they're a wave the white flag team. So that's what concerns me.
That's what would concern me as well. I just don't know that the effort's going to be there for the Commanders going forward. But again, once it gets to 7, it might be get a little bit too much, too pricey for my liking there.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.